Customer said that clutch pedal dropped to the floor, wouldn't come back up. Clutch cable seems to be okay. It's attached still to the pedal. Customer found these parts lying underneath the transmission, so this is obviously separated. Usually this locking clip deteriorates and breaks, but it looks good in this case. Yes, it's a bit rusty, but it looks okay. This is a little protective plate that goes over the rubber, and then it sits like this, and it sits like that, attaches it. So anyways, it's not due to this. The cable's okay, it's not due to the cable. When lifting up the release lever, see, it comes up all the way to the top here. So there's two reasons for this. Either the lever at the end broke, the throw-out lever, or the pressure plate broke, in which case the push rod broke through the pressure plate, and the push rod is this far pushed towards the engine, and the release lever and throw-out bearing can no longer make contact. So what we're going to check is the end plate. Pull the end plate off, check the lever. If the lever is okay, the transmission's going to have to come out. So here's the transmission, here's that lever like I said, or showed earlier, and usually the highest it'll go is right about here. Actually no, that's not true. It'll sit pretty much horizontal like this, and then when you step on it, it'll go up maybe half an inch, but in this case it goes all the way up to the stop. So we're going to take this cover off and see what's going on. I'm just cleaning some dirt away. And then you just take a punch and you bend the cover a little bit. Grab the cover with a vice grip. Wants to come. Okay, then you remove this plastic clip here. The lever's cracked. You can see the crack right here. Looks like I'm not going to have to pull the transmission, but there's still a question with why it broke. Either old age or because it's being stressed because the clutch is worn, applying too much pressure on it. So anyways, remove this locking clip, then you can wiggle this shaft out. And here you can see the little lever and the crack. This basically fits one way only. There's a missing tooth here and here. Actually, it can fit upside down. I think I mentioned that before. So anyways, we're going to put one of these on, put a new cover back on, and then hopefully the clutch is going to work again. And then depending on how the clutch feels, if it grabs high, it's going to be towards the end of its life. and like I said, I can put stress on this, but think about how many times this thing has moved over the course of its life, and it's just a matter of time before they break, or until they break. So here's a new one, no crack. Almost tempted to say this guy's thicker here. Sure looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it's beefier. So it just slides into place. A little bit stiff here. And then the clip goes over, it sits in the grooves, and it holds it in place. Obviously don't forget the spring. Okay, this is the release bearing. This is the throwout rod. You want to look at it and then make sure it's still okay. One side is going to be nice and round. The other side will have a slight taper to it. And then you just feed it in. Make sure that the lever goes around the spring, or the spring goes around the lever. And then you want to position the lever underneath the spring. And it should just slide into place. Lock it into place with the retaining clip. Install the plastic clip. Now you can see when I lift it up, it makes contact with the bearing, and it's sitting in the horizontal position. Now I need to collapse the cable so that the cable can be extended and I can hook it back in. I put a little bit of silicone around the cap. And you just tap it into place. We're going to check fluid later as well. If the retaining straps were still on this cable, it would be a one-man job, but since they're missing, you have to hold it in the collapsed position while somebody else installs the clips. So the way I collapse the cable is by sliding it back and forth on the along the cable, and eventually it'll just collapse. Come on. There we go. And then you hold it in the collapsed position, feed it through, and get a helper to install the clips. Got a second? You might be able to pull the cable a little bit.
Pushing first?
What?
How does this go again?
The rubber first, yeah.
Big one?
The metal cover. And the retaining clip, slide it in from the driver's side so that the open fingers are on the passenger side. Other way around. Oh, hold on, sorry. Yeah, no. The cup has to be facing down. The hump, the dimple has to go up. Yeah. Okay, thank you. That's good. Yeah. Okay, and then you just pump the pedal a few times for the self-adjusting mechanism to do its job. You can pump it with your foot or by hand. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Not too difficult, so I don't think it's a pressure plate problem. As the clutch wears, the pressure plate extends, which causes more pressure to be needed to press on the clutch. So this feels nice and easy still to push, so I don't think it's a worn clutch issue. Obviously, once I start driving, I'll be able to feel where the clutch grabs. If it grabs low, with hydraulic clutches, it's a hydraulic issue. With a clutch cable, it's a adjustment issue. If it grabs really high, then the clutch cable is either too tight, not adjusted correctly, or if it's a self-adjusting clutch cable, it's usually at the end of its life then. In both cases, if you free up the clutch adjustment and it still grabs high, then it's a worn clutch, and eventually it'll start slipping. And so that's it. Guess I better show fluid level checking. It's 17 hex. You basically just want fluid level to the bottom of these threads. So if fluid comes out, good enough. If not, just top it up until fluid comes out. Alright, just pump fluid in. Turning the wheel causes the gears to spin, and it displaces the fluid a bit more, or better, it forces it around the transmission and it finds its own level. And a little bit more. Oh, it's just starting to come out now. As much as this might seem as a pattern failure, it's just old age and maybe lever design in terms of thin metal or not enough, and that's why I noticed, you know, or I said that the new lever is thicker. Okay, that's it.